I'm a reasonable guy. I try my best to be fair. I'll give credit when credit is due. I'm going to go after somebody when it's merited. I gave them a week. I gave them a full week to make it happen, to make good on their promise. But the Democrats did not come through on the $2,000 checks. Here's a reminder of what they said when they wanted your vote.
We will be able to pass $2,000 stimulus checks for the people next week when we win these races in Georgia and get economic relief directly into the bank accounts of the American people who are suffering right now.
By electing John and the Reverend, you can make an immediate difference in your own lives, the lives of the people all across this country, because their election will put an end to the block in Washington on that $2,000 stimulus check. That money that will go out the door immediately. Tell people who are in real trouble.
They lied. There's no other way you can fairly analyze this situation. There's no way. The objective truth is that they lied. They lied. They said $2,000 checks. They said within the first week. Your interpretation, you interpret it however you want. First week is very clear. There's no wiggle room on that one. Biden said immediately. I mean, you could argue that immediately means within the first 2 or 3 days. So, however you want to look at it, it's either within the first 2 or 3 days or the first week. That's what they said. I didn't say it. They said it. They said it. I didn't say it. They said it. Now, some people say, well, they were saying $2,000 checks before the $600 checks. So now that they lowered it to $1,400, they still get full credit. I don't agree with giving them full credit. I'll give you that it's ambiguous, and there is an argument they can make, but they were also saying $2,000 checks after the $600 already passed. So if you're saying $2,000, it's not like immediately after the $600 passed, then they went out there and said $1,400 more. No, they said $2,000 after the $600 already passed. So that would mean a total of $2,600, not a total of $2,000. So, but anyway, I digress from that point. What happened? I'll tell you exactly what happened. I'll walk you through the timeline here. So they said $2,000 immediately and $2,000 in the first week. Then, as soon as Biden got elected, that became, it's not $2,000 checks. It's $2,000 total. So that's the first little weasel move. And now it's not $2,000 immediately or in the first week. It's going to be in a broader package of a $1.9 trillion package, and we're going to get it through regular order in the Senate, which means we need it to be bipartisan. So already they've moved the goalpost and changed it a bunch of times. It went from $2,000 to $1,400, and then it went from a standalone bill was the implication, and then the standalone became a much bigger $1.9 trillion package. Now, there are plenty of good things in that $1.9 trillion package, but you know what? Making the standalone bill a very complex package makes it way less likely that it's going to pass, especially because we just had a COVID relief bill pass not that long ago. You think they're going to go back to back on multi-trillion dollar bills? They're not going to do that. And, I think they know that they're not going to do that. So why are you even trying that? It almost seems like you don't really want it to get through. You just want the credit for proposing it without the actual victory of getting it through. So now again, on that part, it's speculation. You can call me a conspiracy theorist, but they're not dumb. They're not dumb. They know that making it a giant package of $1.9 trillion, that it makes it way less likely it's going to pass. So $2,000 checks immediately within the first week became $1,400 checks, became the $1,400 checks are in a bigger package of $1.9 trillion. And then that became, we're going to do that through regular order, which requires 60 votes. How many Democratic votes are there right now? 51, including Kamala Harris. Where are you going to get 9 Republicans from for your $1.9 trillion package? Where are you going to get them from? Where are you going to get them from? If I'm being as kind as humanly possible, you get Hawley because he said he's in favor of $2,000 checks. Now, do I know if Hawley's in favor of the rest of that shit? No. But $2,000 checks he is. Okay, I'll give you Hawley. Rubio also says he wants $2,000 checks. Okay, 2. There you go. I got you 2. Lindsey Graham says he wants $2,000 checks. Okay, I'll give you him 2. And again, I don't know if Rubio or Graham would support the rest of the $1.9 trillion package. But I'm being nice and I'm giving the Democrats the 3 so far that I know are for the $2,000 checks. After that, you're asked out, dog. you're asked out. You going to get 6 more? You're not going to get 6 more. You're probably not even going to get the 3 I gave you. So what are you doing? What are you doing? So then they went from $2,000 checks immediately within the first week to $1,400 to $1,400 as part of a $1.9 trillion package through regular order. And guess what? That's where we are right now. So what they're saying is, hey, maybe we'll do that through reconciliation. Reconciliation is the process where you can actually get it through with 51 votes. Apparently, you get three chances at reconciliation every year, and there are rules as to what can and can't go through reconciliation. But the problem is it takes a long time to get something through reconciliation. You need hours and hours and hours of open debate. So they haven't even started the process of getting that through reconciliation. So there's no way you're going to get it immediately or within the first week. If you were going to try to do that, you should have done it immediately. On day 1, you should have said, we're going to start getting this through reconciliation. And even then, it wouldn't get out fast enough. But at least you would have started the process and given people an argument like, hey, I did what I could do because I'm trying to get it through reconciliation and I'm doing it like right away. So, I mean, guys, look at the result here. We went from $2,000 checks to $1,400 checks to, okay, put that in a bigger package, which is not going to get through with 60 votes. That bigger package might not even get through with 51 votes because all the things that are in it, I'm sure Manchin and Sinema are going to find something to be like, I don't like that and I don't like that, so I'm not in favor of that. And then you keep pushing it back because you didn't even try to get it through reconciliation yet. So now the $2,000 checks became $1,400 checks. And one person said, one Democratic insider said, we'll get it out by March. Another person says by April. So in other words, you lied. You lied. You lied. John Ossoff lied. Warnock lied. Biden lied. You all lied. So understand something. People don't accept this. People are people, man. And there were a lot of interviews that happened in Georgia after the Democrats won. And we covered the article in Mediaite. People were saying, I feel flat out betrayed. The people who were canvassing for the Democrats say, I feel betrayed. I was lying to people. I didn't even know I was lying to people. You can't get away with shit like this. You can't get away with shit like this because at some point human nature kicks in and people say, you're full of shit. I put hopes in you and then you stabbed us in the back. Don't come back around and ask me for a vote again. This is what's going to happen. And I guess the reason why we're talking about this is I'm trying to stress that it doesn't matter if you say, hey, the other guys suck 100% of the time, and I only suck 80% of the time. So that 20% difference matters. Now listen, that point is true. That 20% difference does matter, for sure. But people are going to say, you stab me in the back, I don't care. Human nature will override that calculation, for sure. Because that's how people operate. You know, it really was a brazen, bold, disgusting lie. It's already being compared to, remember when George H.W. Bush said, read my lips, no new taxes, and then he did new taxes. Now, I'm sure he has his arguments and he has his reasons, and oh my God, we had a big deficit and a big debt, and we needed to make up the difference, and the taxes I raised didn't affect the majority of the population, and I'm sure he has his reasons. But he said, read my lips, no new taxes, and then he did taxes, and he lost. This was a read my lips $2,000 checks immediately within the first week, and then you didn't do it. The most fucked up part is, don't let them ever tell you differently. They could have done it. What Biden could have done, there were 2 ways to approach it where he could have made good on his promise. One of them is, day 1, you send a standalone $2,000 checks bill, and you try to get it through regular order. You try to get the 60 votes. Now, you will find out within the first 2 or 3 days you can't get those 60 votes. And then what you did is you've effectively put political pressure on the Republicans because they're the reason you can't get it through regular order. And then on day 2 or 3, you start the process to get it through reconciliation. Now, you still wouldn't get the checks out within the first week, but you did everything you could to do that. You did everything in your power to make that come to fruition. So you would get credit, even though the checks wouldn't go out in the first week. You would have started the process to get them out in the first week. Or the other thing you could have done is you don't even need to do the political maneuvering of trying to get it through regular order and then blaming the Republicans when they slap it down. You could have immediately took the $2,000 standalone bill and done it through reconciliation. On day one, you could have started the process for reconciliation with those checks. You didn't do that either. And I'll be even kinder. You could have done a bigger package, $1.9 trillion package with $2,000 checks, and started that through reconciliation on day one. And even then, I'd give you credit. But you didn't do any of that. You did none of that. So it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. It's bullshit. And it doesn't, you could point like to, oh, this part of the bill is good and this part of the bill is good. I would agree with you that certain parts of that $1.9 trillion bill, most of that stuff is good. But you still lied and backed out of your word. And that was one of the main reasons why people voted for you. And you stabbed them in the back. This is people's lives we're talking about, guys. This is what everybody needs to understand. We are in a situation right now that is 4 times worse than the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession in terms of job loss. 4 times worse. 30% of the country can't pay their housing bill. 60% of the businesses that shut due to COVID are now permanently shut. People are slipping into poverty all around this nation. More people are food insecure maybe than ever in U.S. history. One article said 40% of the country is food insecure now. 40% of the country. You can't say $2,000 checks and then not do $2,000 checks. You can't do it. People are going to tell you to go fuck yourself. And you know what? I agree with them. Go fuck yourself. Start the process now to get those $2,000 checks out. And if you don't bitch and moan when there are consequences, because there will be consequences. Now, the fact of the matter is, the Republican Party is on the brink of a civil war amongst themselves, and they don't stand for anything except culture war garbage and serving the establishment. So, it's not like it's a guarantee the Republicans win in 2022 or 2024. But I will say the Democrats, with a move like this, it's almost like it's a race to the bottom to see who could be the worst. And the Democrats are trying their best to win that race. And brazen lies like this don't go over very well. So they better make good on their promise. It's already too late to make good on their promise, but they better do everything that they can from this second onward, because this is disgusting and unacceptable.